Hello everybody and welcome to the second round of Summer Heat presented by 204 League here from Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, a oval that is actually younger than iRacing itself. Would you believe it? It's not been in iRacing since the start for that very reason, but we've got it now for some more short track late model racing here on Tuesday nights. It's coming up to 9:30 Eastern time in America, and we're looking forward to the second round of the season. After our opener at Five Flags Speedway last week, it's myself, Ian O'Leary, standing in for Jim Cunningham here today, alongside Hamish Monroe this time around. Good to be alongside you, Hamish. I do enjoy myself some, I know I'm English and so on, it doesn't sound quite right, but I do enjoy some short track racing, some oval racing in general. Looking forward to this tonight here. It's a circuit, I must admit, I don't know very much about at all, but it's a pretty steeply banked short oval, which surely is going to provide great racing.
I think it will. I think it'll provide great racing. It'll provide great racing opportunities for these drivers, of course, as well, for good battling. It's quite ironic, 2 races in a row on this channel, Ewan, and it's the least American combination we could come up with for the most American racing series. That's, of course, oval racing. So we got to do some NASCAR stuff over the weekend, and then tonight we get to go short track racing with the late model stocks as well. But yeah, round 2 tonight, Kevin Harvick's Kern Speedway. You mentioned, I mean, it's a much newer circuit in the world of racing and also the world of iRacing as well. And I think it as you said, it's going to offer us up some good racing too. Of course, tonight we've got money on offer for the Dash for Cash that was not cashed out last week. The driver who started at a P8 at round 1 did not manage to finish inside the top 5 to get the free $15 off the league. So that now jackpots up to $25 for tonight for whoever qualifies in P11 for the Dash for Cash here this evening. So we're looking forward to being able to chat to whoever does qualify in that position early on in the race and just see where they can end up. But they do need to make the top 5 tonight, Ewan, to get that cash in hand to buy themselves possibly an iRacing circuit and a car, or if not, maybe celebrate with maybe a couple of beers afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know how much a beer costs in America.
It's very cheap. I will say that.
Okay.
They're very
Good.
cheap. Yeah. So 25 probably do them for the at least 2 days. I would say, but.
I was going to say, £25 in England would probably get you drunk for a couple of days. But anyway,
be a good time.
Let's not promote what's the word? Unresponsible.
Irresponsible drinking
anyway,
or unresponsible.
Irresponsible, sorry, not unresponsible. That's bad English. Anyway, as you say, we have got a revamped Dash for Cash here for the Summer Heat season, which is great. A special thanks to Rob Donitzen and Aspire X-Stock, as well as Marcus and Creative Castle for the help with the Dash for Cash this season. It's as you say, for weeks 1 through 6, £10 or £10. There we go. First time that's happened. Won't be the last. At $10 per race, it increases by, as you say, started at $15 last week. We're up to $25 now. As you say, the random driver selected will be having qualified in 11th. Out of the 15 drivers who are currently here. Then they've got to finish in the top 5 to win. That means if they don't, it will carry over to next week, where we'll be racing for $35, if indeed that is not claimed this week. And we're going to Bristol, by the way, next week. In case you've not seen the series before, 100 laps around every circuit, all short ovals here this season in the Summer Heat. 35% fuel limit to these cars, and 1 set of tyres. Don't know whether that means 1 set change or one set that you start with and have to finish with, but either way, that shouldn't be too much of a factor. It's going to be pretty short and sharp here, Hamish. We're imagining maybe fairly caution heavy, but I was hearing, actually, reading a couple of things, that maybe it might even be less caution heavy than Five Flags was last week. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's a shorter field tonight, obviously. Of course, about 15 cars on track, so you can only have so many cautions amongst 15 cars. The drivers are out there that have some fun and see what happens, but I think maybe 3 cautions across the 100 laps. I think it's probably a pretty fair assessment or a fair choice. As I said, though, tonight round 2 out at Kern, Bristol next week, but it's a hell of a calendar coming our way before we get out to the 23rd of September to end out at Richmond as well. You mentioned the 100 litres and 35% fuel. 100 laps, sorry, for 35% fuel. So there will be some pit stops on offer for these drivers tonight, and they'll be hoping to make the most of tonight's race, and I think try and get as many points as possible. practice will be coming to an end just shortly here, and then we'll be able to get into qualifying for these drivers as well, where we said, the pole's on offer, but also P11's the other position to keep an eye on, because that is our Dash for Cash here this evening. So looking forward to it, though, Ewan, and I think, tonight's race is going to be a good opportunity for these drivers to get some quality short track racing in, and it's a track that I'm not that familiar with, so I'm excited to see what it can offer us.
Yeah, exactly. Just read out the results from last week, by the way, just before qualifying gets underway, which it just about is. Riley Duncan took the race victory at Five Flag Speedway 7 days ago. Lee Hamby was in second place. Then I don't believe we got third place. Oh, no, excuse me. We do have Scotty Oliver here. Today, he finished in third place ahead of Tyler Smith. And then I think... fifth position was, I don't know, Mike Clint Walker, actually. Yeah, it was. There you go. So that's the top 5 from last week. But as we were just speaking about before we came to air, the Dash for Cash very much about giving an opportunity and a bit of airtime to one of those drivers who maybe wouldn't normally have the chance at winning the race. And as I said, it's not particularly about having to win here. It's just about getting in the top 5 in which you get the Dash for Cash. It does change after week 6, by the way, the Dash for Cash, so we'll let you know about that when we get to the 19th of August, which is our first race in the second phase of the Dash for Cash. And if it's not been claimed by then, it's going to be a very healthy little pot of cash to take at the end of the day. Let's get on with qualifying, though, as Riley Duncan gets towards the top of the standings. 18-3, first of all, first time round. Not quite able to go quicker second time as Adam Vinny moves up to second. Tyler Smith up to third. JJ McRae was in second initially, but moves down to fourth after those first couple of times.
Yeah, JJ McRae now has just jumped up to P2, pulls it up, though, to end out his qualifying run. No one has claimed P11 yet in the standings. That now goes to Dylan Potts. So, ironically, Potts has got the opportunity to win a pot tonight. If he can stay there, he does, and he goes up to P3. Then that goes to Mike Forstner, as he just looks to try and get a better lap time in as well. So 4 cars yet to set a time in the session. Now 3 cars, and Stephen Gary, Rob Donaldson, and Scotty Oliver as well, who had a quality finish last week out of 5 flags. At the moment, Mike is the Dash for Cash driver at P11, so that's obviously ever-changing, ever-flowing as we continue on. Gary up to P6 now, that's Stephen Gary. Scotty Oliver still yet to set a lap time in this session here, Ewan. So if he does set a time, and it's of a positive, and it is, he goes up to P9. That's now dropped Ryan Camber, who's no longer on track, to the Dash for Cash position, and it would actually lock in the Dash for Cash position to Ryan. So ironically, wouldn't you know who could win the pony tonight? It's Ryan Camber, and I'll have to tell that story at some point tonight when we have a caution. It's an old sort of US territories wrestling story. So I often look forward to telling it when it is applicable. And for Ryan tonight, he could win the pony for himself in terms of winning the pot of $25 as lone qualifying is coming to an end. So what we might do is, since we've got a couple of moments left before we start getting up, we will quickly have a chat to Ryan, I think, Ewan, just to mention the fact that he could win the pony. Ryan.
Yes.
About as ironic as you could ask for tonight. Wouldn't you know who could win the pony? It's the admin in yourself, starting out of P11 for the Dash for Cash. And I look forward to telling the story about who won the pony, because it's a very good one. It was originally told by the great Jim Cornette, and that will happen at some point tonight, because if you do win, there's going to be riots, I feel, and you may have to give it up.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm the admin, and I'm even calling rigged.
Yeah, I think you've aimed. I think you've aimed for that there. You've really just set the target. And you're like, right, P11, let's get it. Oh.
I'm looking forward to the conspiracy theories coming out tonight. Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah. Well,
I love Kern, but I'm not very good at it. So I don't anticipate that kitty getting paid out tonight.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see if the pot goes and if it goes your way as well. 100 laps though, plenty of time for you to get the opportunity to win the dosh for yourself. But I mean, how many cautions do you think could happen? I claim there could be 3 because I'm unsure. I've never seen a race here, so I'm not sure how chaotic it can be. You know the drivers better than both of us, Ryan. Do you feel there could be more than 3 cautions across these 100 laps?
I tell you what, these cars get a little bit squirrely once that right rear warms up. So we might see a handful of self spins. I think you might be low on that 3 number. I hope you're not wrong, but I think you might be a little low.
Well, it's good ad time if we get more. So,
yep, and it kind of adds to the complexity because we've only got one set of tires, so you kind of got to plan ahead there. And we only run 35% fuel, and I think on Kern that's good for like 59 laps. So it might be interesting.
One set meaning you can't change tires, or you get one change.
I'm sorry, I should have clarified. We get one change of tires.
Okay, all right. I was about to say 100 laps on one set, you'd be screaming for them. But we'll let you get gridded up, Ryan. Best of luck in the race, and we'll see if you end up with the pot after the Dash for Cash.
Excellent. Thanks much.
No worries. Thank you. Well.
Conspiracy theories.
Let them roll in. That's what I say. Let them roll in. Starting grid for tonight's race, though, Ewan sees Riley Duncan take the pole position here tonight. It's an all-Canadian front row of the grid with JJ McRae alongside him.
It is. The Canadians will be delighted. The only 2 in the field are toppling the Americans. Dylan Potts and Adam Vinny are in row 2. Then it is Scotty Oliver and Robert Dunitson who share row 3. Tyler Spiff and Lee Hamby will be on 4. They are both who finished in the top 10, by the way, top 5 last week's race. Stephen Gary and Clint Walker, who were also in the top 5 last week, running out the top 10 with Ryan Canberra in that 11th place, who'll be dashing for the cash tonight. That's not good news for somebody pulling off the circuit. There's Marcus de Garza, who is next. Is Riley Duncan. Not good news for him at all. Further down, it's Michael Ivett, Mike Forstner, and Mark Keeler. But yeah, what's happened to Riley Duncan here? And can he get back into the pole here? Because he's pulled off the side of the circuit very, very early here at Kern Raceway, and it looks like he is going to have to start from the back of the field, I guess. Maybe the pace car pulls around for a second pace lap.
Maybe he just wants to make the night interesting for himself here, Ewan. Maybe he's going to go for a last to first challenge here. He set the qualifying pace and then said, well, there's 15 of yous or 14 of yous. Let me just come past and try and win the race. Could be interesting for him, and could be quite noble to try and make this attempt as well, but could also be quite deadly, especially around here. So, we heard it from the admin. Self-spins could be the case tonight. That could cause quite a few cautions, but we'll get all the answers once we go green flag racing here at Kern.
That's very true. We'll see where Duncan can get to at the end. Won last week, looking to come from the back of the field to win this week as well as they come out the final turn now. And we're ready for 100 laps of summer heat here at Kern Raceway. Green flag waves for the first time. We're underway, and it's JJ McRae who takes the lead into turn 1. Effectively the pole sitter after Duncan pulled out a line. Oh, and there's already somebody in the fence off of 2.
No caution thrown just yet. They've somehow survived the early kind of onslaught or early scramble of trying to jostle for position here, but McRae gets the lifeline of Riley Duncan moving to the back of the field. As more and more drivers are just trying to scramble for position here. Obviously Riley Duncan, who started right at the back after qualifying on pole, he's trying to make moves early here. Could be a quick night for him to get back up the front of the field.
He's already doing the work. Looks like Dunitson was the one who found the fence, was it? Or was it Walker? Maybe he found the fence off of 2 on the very first lap. There's definitely a car out there with and a very exposed front right tyre, and you can see it there on your screens. Down into 1. It's a big slide, and it is Rob Dunitson who found the barrier. So, yeah, not ideal for him. You can see the damage to that car already. By the way, on the cautions point you were asking Ryan about, there was only 2 last week at 5 flags, so hopefully you are right and in that ballpark, but Ryan seems to think that we will beat that tally of 2 in this week's race, certainly.
Well, I mean, who's going to know them better than the own admin of the series, and who's also going to be maybe overly realistic or overly cautious of how many we may have? I often find sometimes, Ewan, that sometimes when it's my own drivers, I expect worse of them somehow. So maybe he just has some hopes and dreams of being able to ease his way forward by surviving a lot of cautions here tonight. He is already up one spot into P10, so the Dash for Cash has now only got 5 positions to gain before he is within the opportunity of winning the pot here this evening. McRae, though, doing well at the front of the field. Potts and Viney sitting with him. Oliver as well, Smith inside the top 5, but controlling the tyre wear is going to be ultra important tonight. Ewan, we mentioned it, 1 tyre change available to them, so they're only going to have 1 set that they can put on the car throughout these 100 laps, and that front right, the rear right, may be the first that they take in a first pit stop scenario possibly, just to try and fix up the wear on it, because that's when the car begins to get a bit out of hand for them when it starts to wear too much.
I think based on what Ryan said earlier, the strategy I'll be taking forward into this is you know, if we get a caution any time after lap 40, I'm coming in and taking those tyres, and I'm taking the fuel as well, and I'm not going to come in again for the remainder of the race. If not, then I might split this race in half, pit under green at lap 50, and try and spread the tyre wear throughout. But if we get an early caution here, I just can't see people coming into pit lane. I don't see the point of giving up the track position so early on in the race with so little option in terms of the tyre wear. And I think it does mean we're seeing people be a little bit more careful early on as Vinny goes down the inside of Potts. That's Adam Vinny down the inside of Dylan Potts in towards 3 and 4. Racing side by side for second here. All of them been promoted 1 because of Duncan dropping to the back, and so they are now fighting for second place, these two. It looks like Vinny might have the place.
Yeah, he's just trying to wrestle this car forward, but the A&W entry alongside him is not quite willing to give it up just yet. Of course, having to run the midline here, you can see just the back end just starts to slide out just so. He nearly got doored out into the wall then, Ewan, as these cars continue to assault him now. And making those small mistakes on these short tracks, they can be a big detriment to you, because you can eventually just begin to drop position after position as you lose your rhythm and as you lose your pace in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's short track racing, very rhythmic. Oh, there's contact and another one in the fence, very nearly in the background. My goodness, that was close again. Down in the background, a bit of contact through 3 and 4. Not sure if Riley Duncan was the instigator or not, but he maybe will argue not. But we do have a caution for the first time tonight, and Ryan Camber is one of them who's dropping down the field, certainly.
Yes, the Dash for Cash driver of Ryan Camber has had a moment here. Let's have a quick look at what's happened. So he was on the inside line as he's come through. Goes tuck up the inside. Oh, and just a bit of a tap in the rear. Almost looked like he hesitated because the 80 car ahead of him almost looked like it was starting to kind of peek towards the inside of the corner, and he may have thought that he was going to get cut off as he tried to come through. So just couldn't quite get there in the end. We're around about 15 laps in, first caution of this race. We'll take this quick moment now just to give thanks to one of the 240 League sponsors. We'll be back very, very shortly with more short track racing here at Kern. But just enjoy this sweet and short message here.
Do you love Orlando's theme parks, but the long lines have you losing the magic? Introducing Ride Waits, the Apple Watch app designed to help you skip the stress and ride more, with real-time wait times and park info right on your wrist. Whether you're exploring Walt Disney World, adventuring through Universal Orlando, or taking it all in at SeaWorld, Ride Waits helps you navigate smarter and get the most out of your visit. No more wandering, no more guessing, just more riding. And it's not just wait times. Ride Waits also offers tips on the best times to ride, general park info, and helpful alerts so you never miss out on your favorite attraction. Whether you're planning ahead or making game day decisions in the park, Ride Waits keeps everything you need at a quick glance away. Ride Waits, your wrist-side guide to the best parks in Orlando. Available now on the Apple Watch store.
Not affiliated with or endorsed by any theme park brand.
Well, welcome back to Kern. It is time for the first restart of the day. This is Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, and we are ready to go again for another green flag run, hopefully. That will be a little bit longer than the last, although the last did have good racing within it. We would like to have green flag runs, much like what we had at Five Flags, where the loads of the early part of the race actually was undertaken under green flag conditions. Don't think there was a caution, maybe wrong, don't think there was a caution for over 20 minutes at the start of that run, and obviously that's quite a lot of laps around Five Flags, about 3/4 of the race distance. Didn't quite get that far this week, but let's see what happens on this restart as JJ McRae gets us underway again. Over the line, green flag waves, and McRae with a good start again, much like from the outside off the actual start, the restart just as clean as those in behind battle to give chase.
As we run up and around off the back of JJ's car, you can see the pressure that's just being applied to him at the moment, and the side-by-side action of Oliver and Viney continues on as well. I do appreciate you and the fact that the Super Late model, you can pretty much make it whatever car you want if you can find the correct graphics for it. For the front of the car, of course, Oliver running a Cadillac inspired car. So we'll see how well that pays off from here tonight. He did have good pace last week out at Five Flags, but there ever is the oncoming assault in the 97 entry of Riley Duncan, who has already made his way up to P6 into this race as well. To give the update on Ryan Camber, who caused the last caution as the cars are getting uber close. He's back up to P11 now, so he's back where he started the race and back with 5 positions to gain to get into the top 5.
I hope that that is not his limit, because he has been hovering around there quite consistently in the early part of this race. Oh, wow. Side contact very nearly, as Adam Vinny very nearly got carted out wide by Oliver there on that occasion. Now it's Duncan to the outside of Hamby through turn 1 and 2. Riley Duncan's not quite going to be able to get round there just yet, but is squeezing this one in close through 3 and 4 again. Can he get the run off of here this time round? He'll have his nose just about in front as they get to the line, and they're 2 laps away from 1/4 distance already.
It's amazing how quick short track races go, and amazing how quick the laps fly by as well. And you know, the fact that we're already 1/4 of the way through, we've had a caution to this point. That then says to me that we're going to have 4 cautions across 4 quarters of this race. That's if the statistics add up, but only time will tell. Probably about 25 laps away from a regular green pit stop tonight, Ewan, I'd say. You know, as you said, probably want to try and get to lap 50, take that stop, just even out the race a little bit. But if you get a caution 10 laps within, you're definitely going to come in and take the tyres, because it's a free pit stop. And if you can make it 60 laps on fuel, why wouldn't you do so?
Yeah, exactly. So we will likely see a lot of that here today, with these guys staying sensible with their pit strategy, you would imagine. So we'll look forward to that in about 13 laps time, and if there is a caution, we'll see a very busy pit lane indeed, as now through 1 and 2. That's a big slide back in the pack there for, is that Camber, who is yeah, it is, in the Jasper Cash car tonight in 2:04. Drops to 12th now as Forstner gets back in front. Ironically, the car that hit him around actually to bring out that first caution of the day.
Yeah, I think maybe there could be a target on the back of Ryan, knowing that he controversially got the dash for cash position tonight in qualifying. Definitely no favoritism there whatsoever. He definitely didn't ballast every single other car in the field tonight, Ewan, to make sure that his was the 11th fastest in qualifying. It was surely just genuine pace that got him there. You know, but I feel there may be now some animosity between the drivers and him, because it couldn't have gone to somebody else who wasn't a part of the admin crew. It had to go to the admin, it seems. So, but yeah, he's got work to do though if he hopes to win the Dosh. But he may decide, probably should probably give it to an actual driver at some point and just back off and not get the top 5. But sometimes you also just got to say, hey, should have done better and got P11 in qualifying.
Yeah, I actually think he might actually back off if he's in the top 5 later on. I don't know if he's actually going to go through with it, but it'd be hilarious if he did, and I would enjoy that, but I'm not sure he will. Forster's really putting some pressure on Walker here through off of turn 4. It's Clint Walker just up in front, who finished 5th last week, and this meanwhile is back at in the fence. Meanwhile, for the lead, JJ McRae finally being challenged by Scotty Oliver for the lead. Oliver to the inside into turn 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to take the lead as well.
You can just see he's still side by side. I was hoping McRae was going to slot him behind him there, but he didn't quite give it up just yet. Oliver wants this position so badly. He wants to try and maximise on his qualifying tonight, maximise on the fact that Duncan looked to make it harder for himself by slotting the car further back in the field off the start of the warm-up lap here, but McRae retakes the lead. Duncan's still trying to get this job on Viney. He's around the outside at this point here. Lee Hamby's in behind. He'll be looking to pick up the scraps like a dust bunny if these guys begin to scrap and just drop some crumbs. But he's not quite able to get there just yet. It's the 97 just gets the job done around the outside. That's a good move. And just shows that he's got some proper pace on board this car, Ewan, if he's making moves around the outside.
Yeah, he certainly does, and that's why he dropped to the back as well. I think he wanted to really give himself a bit of a challenge here tonight to try and get to the front of the field, and that's exactly what he's managed to do here. He's in behind Oliver and McRae, who are leading 1 and 2 right now, and they're getting themselves ever closer to the end of this 40-lap window in which you can pit in and make it to the end on fuel, although Vinny's not done yet, just looks to the low side through 1 and 2. And as he goes further up the field, Duncan is going to find this more and more difficult and more challenging to stay in these positions and keep making these overtakes. The standard obviously going up as they come through the field, as always.
Oh, well, that's a hell of a lot of information from Adam Viney. Beardsconsin, next level litigation support. It's Wisconsin, you know. Wham bam, BYP, the Wisconsinite. Okay, Adam, fair enough. Give us as much information as possible. We appreciate it. It allows us to realise that he enjoys cheese. He's from Wisconsin, so I have to wonder what kind of cheese may be his preference. We might have to ask him post-race. But we can see ahead, though. Duncan has got the, he's definitely got the momentum at the moment, it seems, Ewan. Just wanting to get it up the inside of Scotty Oliver. These guys know each other well. They battled hard last week for the race win. And, well, he's got himself a much better position now and a much better passing opportunity than what he had on the car behind because he's on the inside line. He managed to do it on the outside on the 11, but the inside on the 18 is going to seem like a world away because the 18 car is making it a lot more difficult for him just to send it up there and get the move done, but may just have to try and conserve these tyres a little bit more because we've got about 9 laps before we're going to see cars start to come into pit lane.
Yeah, if indeed they are going to split it halfway, if they decide to try and go a little bit further, then they can go another 10 laps past halfway in the hopes that maybe there will be a caution before they get there. But we are about to start to see lap traffic as well here as some of those drivers towards the back get caught. Michael Evert will be the first of them and Mark Keeler will be the second. They're not too far away from being lapped here as Duncan's now under pressure again from Adam Vinny trying to get into the top 3 again. Duncan up to 3rd for the first time here tonight, but he's just about under pressure for that position. Adam Vinny still looking to his inside into 3 and 4, and Duncan shuts the door.
He just couldn't quite carry the pace then up towards the inside, and I think Riley maybe just last of the late lifters there, just letting the car kind of come to a halt as it approached the apex. That just allowed him just to carry the speed into the corner a bit better and then slot right ahead of the 11 in behind him. So plenty of racing still left to come though. Anything can happen with them. I think they're going to get a little bit more aggressive towards the end of this race because they're going to realise the laps are coming down quick and fast here, Ewan, and they're not going to want to sit back and wait to get their opportunities the longer that this race goes on.
Yeah, although they are sort of stuck where they are at the moment, it's proving to be a little bit difficult to overtake as things stand in this top 7, which have very much broken away from the rest of the field. Meantime, Camber's off again. Ryan Camber off in that 204 car, and that will be pit stops for everybody just on halfway.
So Camber on the inside, runs it wide, tries to catch it, and it's a massive tank slapper, and it's the 4 that's hit the back of him again. Wow. It's like they can't stay away from each other, Ewan. They desire to have a cuddle. And I don't understand why they're having to do it in front of all of us as everyone is down pit road. So we'll take this opportunity to have another quick ad break here. Second caution of the race. We're on track to get 4 in this race here. We've had 1 every quarter mark. So as drivers begin their pits, we'll be back very, very shortly with these quick messages.
.204 League presents Tuesday, late model stocks under the lights. Proudly presented by Motormouth Broadcasting. From multiple countries compete nose to tail on America's most legendary short tracks. Tracks like IRP, Bristol, Myrtle Beach, and more. Come see some of the best drivers on iRacing battle door to door. Names like Scotty Oliver, Nolan Perry, Riley Duncan, and Tyler Smith, along with up-and-coming drivers like Stephen Gary, Hugh Escobar, Marcus De La Garza, and Ryan Camba. For the best late model stock action on iRacing, come visit Motormouth Broadcasting on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Only on the 204 League, where the big ones run, run, run.
Well, welcome back to Kern Raceway, where Duncan is back to the lead again. Just 10.8 seconds in the box for him, ahead of Scotty Oliver and JJ McRae, who are 12 and 13 seconds in the box, respectively. Just 10 seconds for Lee Hamby as well. You were speculating, Hamish, about what Duncan actually did in that pit stop there we saw under yellow.
Yeah, I think I feel he hasn't taken all of his tyres because he's only had a 10-second stop. It might not be that he didn't take all his tyres. He may have underfueled the car as well in anticipation for this caution. And maybe just thinking we could have quite a few cautions try and take the track position. Back under green flag once again, though, here at Kern. So, a couple of different strategies being played. Lee Hamby in a very similar strategy position as Riley. He took a 10.22 second stop. The other guys around them, Viney a 13 second, McRae 13 seconds, Oliver 12 seconds. So I think it's either they haven't taken all the rubber that they could or they haven't taken all the fuel that they could to get to the end of this race in anticipation of a fuel save scenario.
Well, they don't need to fuel again from here to the finish. They can make it all the way as we're into the second half of the race here at Kern Raceway. Out of the final corner for Duncan to now start leading his first laps of the day. Don't forget he got pole, but dropped to the back of the field on the pace lap so that he could have a bit of fun and drive through the field, and that he has absolutely done. McRae is now into second, so it's a Canadian 1-2 again here, as it was at the start. They're back to where they qualified. Oliver and Vinny, meanwhile, close together, nose to tail. That's a look from Vinny down the inside into 1 and 2. Around the outside from Oliver to keep the place, but not comfortably. Vinny still with a nose alongside here and a chance.
Yeah, he's just trying to get the run. He just needs to try and either lift a little bit later just to shove the car straight up the inside and keep it there. Maybe give him a little bit of a door as well. Let him know you're right alongside him, but the 18's not going to give it up easily. He's just able to carry a bit more pace. So the 11 may just need to keep the pressure on, hope that the tyres give way on the 18. That can make the job a little bit easier for him as well as we progress up towards lap 56 the next time by. And the 11 gets past the 18 of Scotty Oliver. And now up onto the podium goes Adam Viney, but plenty of time left of this race for him as Smith and Hamby going side by side too. So it's still a bit more jostling for position at this stage. To give the update on Ryan Camber. Oh, bit of a kiss on the rear then. Update on Ryan Camber. He's down to P14, so the dash for cash is looking unlikely tonight for him.
It is. Smith there with a huge snap there, and now Lee Hamby is going to come through on the inside for 5th position, maybe in the 47 car. No, not quite. And it's going to be Tyler Smith with the run on the outside line. In the meantime, Scotty Oliver got in the fence off of 4, and so now he's under pressure as well in 118, but Smith with a bit of a slide there. He's not going to be able to get through. This is lively stuff here for these positions all over again. A bit of a better line there from Smith off the turn, the final turn. Over the line again, can't get through. They do seem every now and again slightly stuck where they are. Just seem like overtaking's a tad difficult here at this circuit.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the fact that they can just run that little bit more pace through corners on the midline. That helps them defend, obviously, to inside line attacks. It also does open up the overtaking opportunity on the outside line of the car ahead of you. I just think, another wall slice there from Scotty Oliver. That's allowing Tyler Smith just to get right up onto the back of him as well. I just want to take this quick moment though, just to give thanks to everyone who was watching along with us here tonight as well. If you are watching us for the first time, that's a bad time for it. If you're watching us for the first time or you've been here for a while, you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, the bell icon as well. So identify whenever we go racing here at Motormouth Broadcasting. Next time will be on your screen to be tomorrow night, live for High Point Racing GT Challenge for the next round of that series. Myself and Ron will be back in the booth for that. And then if you're looking forward to when Jim comes back, the day after High Point Racing IMSA Championship, it'll be myself and Jim Cunningham in the booth for that round as well on Thursday night local time. So looking forward to that racing coming your way, but still more racing to come from Kern here out of the late model stocks of the 204 League.
Absolutely, 38 to go as they get to the line here, and they do seem to get into single file at the moment. So I think now is as good a time as any just to squeeze a little ad break in during this green flag run. Not too much going on for the moment. Riley Duncan still leading here at Kern Raceway. We'll squeeze an ad in and be back on the other side with more racing in the second round of the summer heat season.
From the track to the tech, Creative Castle keeps your code running as clean as your lap. We test real-world devices and digital platforms so your next release won't crash in turn one. At Creative Castle, we elevate your software with expert quality assurance and cross-platform testing. Whether it's native apps or networked hardware, we deliver precision-tested performance at scale. Behind every smooth app and smart device is a quiet castle. Creative Castle. We're the quality wizards and test knights who battle bugs and break bad code before it breaks your product. Creative Castle. Quality at full throttle. Your quest for quality ends here.
.34 to go at the line here from Kern Raceway, and once again thanks to all the sponsors who make this broadcast possible and indeed this league possible here, the 204 League, presenting summer heat here for the next 12 weeks, running all the way to the end of September, which is I don't know, in England anyway, that's not summer anymore, but we're running all the way to the end of September, and we are going to be racing around 12 short tracks in late models for that period of time. Very much looking forward to it. In the second round from Kern Raceway. Next week we're at Bristol for Nashville Fairgrounds to round out, what month are we in now? July? Round out July. Richmond. Richmond at the start of August, followed by North Wilkesboro to round out the first part of the season. And the first part of the Jasper Cast, which, in case you weren't with us earlier on, is present here tonight. $10 per race in the first half of the season. The driver randomly selected in qualifying was Ryan Camber, who's currently running down in 12th place. He needs a top 5 finish here tonight to claim the Jasper Cash. Otherwise, it rolls over to next week, which would be $35 if indeed it rolls over. He's currently competing for $25 because it's round 2. And at the moment, he's quite a few seconds away from it.
Well, the fact that you mentioned September's no longer summer in England, it's not even reached summer yet by September in Australia. We're having it's a winter freeze for me. It's not a summer heat at the moment, but luckily we don't have to deal with similar weather conditions though as the UK or the US during winter. We just get rain and it's just cold. We don't get snow. We don't get ice. Unless you live in Tasmania, then you do, and you get negative temperatures. But aside from that, we're just wet and cold. So it's the closest we get to feeling like England year round.
Is it ever winter in Darwin?
It would be tropical. So Darwin, Cairns, and Townsville. So pretty much anything in the top end. It's basically just tropical. So in the summer they get flooding up in Cairns and Townsville. But yeah, during winter it would just be like, I don't know, think of weather in Bali or Indonesia up there.
Yeah.
So
similar latitude.
Similar latitude, yeah. And then the north of Western Australia is just dry and hot. We have that many different climates here. There's a reason why, and they often forget about New Zealand when they include it in this. It's often why Australia is considered its own continent. It's because we have that many different climates during the year. You know, they often say 4 seasons in one day for Melbourne. It's a very true statement. You never know what you need to wear when you head into the city of Melbourne because you can get rain, sunshine, snow, anything and everything can happen in one day. It's quite remarkable. But 25 to go though, Ewan. We've hit the 25 to go mark, so we're cutting down the laps now. We've only had the 2 cautions tonight. ironically. Same as last week at 5 flags. They're looking pretty neat and tidy now as everyone begins to spread out.
Yeah, well, if there's going to be one more, your prediction would be looking very good. I'd say you're pretty odds on at the moment, because surely we're not going to go the final half of this race without another caution. That would be pretty extraordinary here, but let's see if we do. Duncan has not exactly gotten away from the rest of the field. He's come through the field really quite nicely in this race, but JJ McRae is keeping him in check quite nicely here. Adam Vinny is next, but that's a bit wide through 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 rather, and Scotty Oliver is pretty close. Not quite close enough and able to get through, though, into any of these turns at the moment. So it's Duncan's race to control, but he's by no means dominating here.
Well, as we get up towards 20 laps to go, we're currently on 2 cautions tonight. I think we can give a quick shout out to one of the other series sponsors once again. So we'll have this opportunity just to take a very, very quick ad break. The next time we'll have another one. It'll be around about lap 10, or about 10 to go, sorry, in this race. So we're back very shortly after these quick messages here from the sponsors of the 204 League.
In logistics, precision isn't a goal, it's the expectation. At Aspire Crossdock, we exceed it every day. Serving Fortune 50 companies from our strategic hubs in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Aspire Crossdock delivers fast, reliable, and fully customizable logistics solutions tailored to your supply chain. From expedited cross-dock to end-to-end third-party logistics, we're not just a 3PL provider. We're your competitive edge. Driven by the latest technology and guided by a relentless focus on service, Aspire Crossdock brings you unmatched speed, visibility, and accuracy in every single shipment. Innovation, execution, satisfaction. Aspire Crossdock isn't just keeping up, we are setting the pace. Find us on aspirecompanies.biz. Aspire Crossdock, where logistics meets success. Tired of bland shirts and cookie-cutter designs? Step up your game with top-tier design and apparel. Your one-stop shop for premium custom apparel. Whether you're ripping your brand, your team, or your side hustle, we've got you covered. From direct-to-garment printing to high-quality heat press transfer, top-tier delivers sharp, vibrant prints that last wash after wash. Want to press it yourself? No problem. We also print custom transfers you can apply at home or in your shop with any t-shirt heat press transfer. Fast turnaround, maximum impact. When it comes to custom gear, don't settle for average. Go top tier. Top tier design and apparel. Print like you mean it. From the press to your chest. That's top tier.
Well, 15 to go here from Kern Raceway, and once again, big thanks to all the sponsors who make this broadcast and indeed this league possible. Here it's the second round of the Summer Heat presented by 204 League, and we are racing to the end by the looks of it. Riley Duncan currently leads ahead of JJ McRae, and they're coming through traffic, which is adding complications right now. Certainly in the battle for second, Adam Vinny is close right in, but so far has still lacked a way through into that second position.
Yeah, it seems that JJ McRae's made that 78 car about as wide as possible for anyone who is not an enjoyer of maple syrup, because only Riley Duncan's managed to get past him in this race. That was through the pit stop period as well. Tyler Smith back into the lane now in the 25 car as well to give the update on the Dash for Cash driver Ryan Camber, up to P9 at the moment, but he's got a world ahead of him to get up to the top 5. If there is some late carnage though, there could be opportunities on offer for him here, Ewan, but 11 laps to go. It's not looking very likely that we're going to get a third caution in this race. It's been a race of 2 halves though. I mean, it's been the first half we had 2 cautions. We had Riley Duncan trying to fight his way back through the field after deliberately pulling over and letting the field pass him off the warm-up lap. The second half of the race, he's been back up the front, dominating how we thought the majority of the way was going to be. There's been no cautions. Are there correlations between the two? Well, you can maybe make some, but the statistics don't lie. It seems that when Riley's leading, the racing's clean. When he's not, incidents happen. Not that he was involved in any of them, though.
No, well, that is true. it was Canberra, of course, involved in both with Forster. Yeah, I think if you look at last week, it's the exact opposite, isn't it? Really, 2 very late cautions at Five Flag Speedway brought an end to that race. The final caution of the day coming out with about 5 minutes to go. I know it's not an exact science, so this race was done on laps, but with about 5 minutes to go also. The caution before that came out, that green flag run was only about a minute and a half or so it would have only been a few laps. It's very, very stark contrast here. We've had green flag runs of varying lengths, but decent length every time as Smith makes his way back out onto the circuit. Not sure what he came in for, but he's now just gone 5 laps down there. That's Tyler Smith, who finished 4th last week. He's going to be finishing last tonight.
Yeah, it looks like he's been in there for around about a minute, so I'd say quite possibly either somehow catching an incident limit, then having a stop hold, or he's had some damage he's had to fix up on that car quite possibly as well. The battle, though, for P2 continues on as now Scotty Oliver looks to get involved as well. It's becoming a triple threat between the three of them. Here is their battle for the second position on the podium. Riley Duncan, though, looks to try and lock out this win. It's to be 4 laps to go when he crosses the line. And looks to be another win this season for him up the front of the field and trying to solidify a championship win for himself in the 97 entry. Wouldn't be the first driver to win a championship with the number 97 on the side of it. Of course, current NASCAR driver and multiple-time race winner now, Shane Van Gisbergen, won his first Supercars championship when he had 97 on the side of the car.
Didn't Kurt Busch wear 97 when he won in 2004?
I think he did as well, yes.
Bit of oval racing knowledge from the very depths of my mind for you at this time of the morning. Should be very grateful. 3 to go, Kern Raceway. And in a moment, 2 to go. Less than a minute of this race remaining. And you've got to say Riley Duncan has dominated it. Even though he hasn't been there from the very start, he's dropped back and he's been, he's been the big man throughout this race. It looks like he's going to take the race win.
Fair play to you, Ewan. That was correct. It was Kurt Busch in the 97 in 2004, so fair play. But 2 laps to go, though, at Kern. Riley Duncan looks to have this race locked and loaded for himself. JJ McRae is still under fire from the 11 of Adam Viney. White flag, though, at Kern. 1 to go for Riley Duncan before he finds himself as another race winner here in the series.
Yeah, and his closest rivals last week are nowhere near him this week. He is the only constant at the front of this field, and he's done it from the back today. Riley Duncan wins at Kern Raceway in a dominant performance. After dropping to 15th voluntarily on the pace lap, he came through to take the checkered flag by the end. After a great bit of pit strategy under that last caution, he takes the win by just under a second ahead of fellow countryman JJ McRae in a bit of Canadian dominance, Canadian 1-2 here from Kern Raceway.
Yeah, it was complete dominance. I mean, it's the only way that you can really describe it as. The 97 looks to be unbeatable at the moment. The Dash for Cash has not jackpotted this week. So we'll now progress forward to the 3rd round out at Bristol next week. We'll see if Ryan Campbell looks to put himself in the Dash for Cash position again as the 97 begins his celebration. So have a quick chat to him and Riley Duncan, our race winner here this evening. Riley, congratulations. Race winner once again. Dominant performance once again. We saw you pull over on the pace lap at the start of the race. Were you wanting to make your night interesting, or did you have any issues before the start?
At least I think it's still a rule. I know last season it was if you win a race, you got to start at the back in the next one. So I was just pulling off and told them that I needed my EOL, and yeah, that was it.
Well, that is news to me, and it makes it very interesting.
It does. That's a great rule, by the way. That
I love
should be
it.
employed everywhere.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's a good rule, but it didn't seem to affect
honestly.
you. It didn't seem to affect you too much, Riley. Tell us what it was like coming through the field, because at times tonight I did watch this and think, this is hard. This is a hard track to pass on, but you seemed to make it look relatively easy. How did you manage that? How was the racing tonight?
And this track's 2 lanes. You can run the outside, you can run the inside. It's a lot of fun. It wasn't too. Once tires got old, it was definitely hard to pass on the inside, but on fresh tires, the inside worked really well. You just need to go into the corner right if you want to actually pass somebody, if that makes sense.
Well, one more thing as well, just before we let you go. Rest of the season, if that does indeed persist, and you have to start at the back for winning races in the next one, how far do you think you can go this season? Because you've already ticked 2 off already. What about Bristol next week? The ones going forward as well.
About Bristol, to be honest, I'm not that good there, but anything short, I think I'm like not like Bristol, like anything like an actual just normal short track. I think I'm pretty confident that I should be able to finish well. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully.
I reckon we should stack penalties for people who win races. So obviously you've won 1 race, so you've got to start from the back. And then I think now that you've won 2, you've also got to do 2 traverses through pit lane, just to make it fair for everybody. I feel. I reckon that you win your 3rd, you've got to cause 3 cautions or something. I don't know. Like there's really hinder you.
Says that I should start 2 laps down.
Hey, you know what?
Wow.
Fair play. I mean,
It'd be impossible.
enough cautions. Anything's possible, Ewan. The first caution, you get the wave around and be back on the lead lap.
Good. I think I was in 3rd place by like lap 30 something.
It's true, but it's not quite coming back for. We're averaging 2 cautions a race at the moment. I don't think you're getting enough at the moment to get those laps back. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah, that is true with the 2 cautions.
Yeah,
It would,
but,
I don't know. If it was like 150 laps, I'd try it.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, it's a short and sharp dash here tonight, and congratulations on taking the win, Riley. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
First, I want to thank Easy Clean, BRNZ Performance, of course, Mark Keeler. He did this paint up real nice with Viper Graphics. And, of course, my team, R&M Motorsports. And then that's everybody. Oh, and shout out to my teammate, JJ. He finished right behind me. So, yeah, good night for the team.
Ah, that's why.
For the Canadians.
That's why the double at the front of the field just didn't battle each other. They're teammates, of course.
Oh, I battle. I'm gonna be honest. I can't do that stuff, man. Even if it was JJ leading, I'd be battling him as hard as I could. If he's gonna win, he's gonna earn it. Same with me.
Fair play. All right, Riley, best of luck next week out at Bristol. We look forward to seeing how you go. Thanks so much for coming over a quick chat to us.
Have a good one.
You too, mate. Bye. I've just put him in a random room. I didn't even put him back in the one that he was in. I've just dragged him down.
I can't remember where he was either. But anyway, we've just abandoned him somewhere. Anyway, but thanks to him for coming to chat to us in Winner's Circle here tonight. Riley Duncan, that was a fantastic performance. Great rules about being at the back of the field, having to come through. But as you say, even that wasn't enough to keep him at the back. There's the full race results. JJ McRae following him home with Adam Vinny not quite able to get past McRae throughout a lot of that final green flag run. Scotty Oliver was there as well in close attendance. Lee Hamby was also in the top 5. One of only 3 drivers to finish in the top 5 in both the first 2 rounds. Dylan Potts was a few seconds further back, or at least about half a second further back, rather. Rob Dennison was next to Stephen Gary. And then Ryan Camber, the unsuccessful dash for cash. It means it's $35 next week. We'll let you know in qualifying in next week's broadcast, of course, where they will be starting from the Dash for Cash driver. Mark Keeler rounded out the top 10 with Clint Walker, the final driver, on the lead lap, and that's a -6 on where he was last week. Mike Forster got involved in a couple of cautions, finished a lap down with Marcus de Gaza and also Michael Ebert. Tyler Smith lost 5 laps towards the end in a long pit stop. And that's just about it from Kern Raceway here, Hamish. It was decent racing here, but, difficult to pass unless your name was Riley Duncan here tonight, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like he had a. It almost looked like he had a bypass. Like he just went by everybody. It was, everyone was on the main road. He was on the highway to success, and he managed to get that car up the front of the field in a solid effort and another victory for him. We'll see how they stack. If they stack any penalties to make it harder for him next week, I think that'd be quite interesting. I'm a big believer that if he wins 1 race, he has to give up the pole start from the back, and then now that he's won 2, he has to do 2 traverses through pit lane. It's the only fair way I think that you can maybe hinder his success and try and get us another winner next week. But No, it's been absolutely fantastic once again. Massive thank you to you, Ewan, as well, for filling in for Jim here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Shout out to all the series sponsors for helping us get the stream up as well, to our stream sponsors as well, DRE, Digital Race Engineer, and to Track Cams as well. Massive thank you to them. If you're watching along with us for the first time, or you've been here for a while as well, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe as well. Click the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing. As I said, the next time we're on your screens will be myself and Ron tomorrow night for the High Point GT Challenge. That'll be a hotly contested contest once again. For myself, Hamish Rondo, though, and Ewan O'Leary, appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us once again on Motormouth Broadcasting. Until next time, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.